advertising and designing, Zimbabwe's most affordable printing company. Hurry for our specials today. We have PVC or vinyl printing going only for $14 per square meter. Cut vinyl going only for $3 per square meter. We also have business cards going only for $10 for 100 cards. We also do printing on PVC ID cards going from as little as $2.40. Simply fly your brand with our flyers going from as little as $13 for 100 sheets. We also do show stand branding, vehicle branding, premise signage, posters, calendars, aluminium snapper frames of all sizes, flags, electronic roll-ups, electronic rotating stands, A-frames, graphic designs, and many more. Visit us today on corner 1st Street and Speak Avenue on number 51 Complex House, 2nd floor. Call our sales team today on the following numbers: 04 710 129 or 086 441 03428 or 0733 377 737, or simply email us on printing@poweradvertising.co.zw. Come today for an instant service. Remember, a business without a sign is a sign of no business. Power Advertising, a high mark in print and design.
Let me start by introducing myself. I'm not too sure about if any of you, I think my biography has already been shared, correct? Yes. Okay, so there's no need for me to go into that. I'm just going to go straight into why I'm here. I was asked by a friend of mine, a colleague, and he said, we want you to come and share and speak with us on how entrepreneurs can grow their businesses, especially looking at the marketing tips on how to grow your business, maybe as an SME or as an entrepreneur. And I gladly appreciate it. But before I start, I want to share something very, very intimate with you. I am not a marketer. I know I've probably won a few awards in marketing and the like, but I'm not a marketer. My personal goal or my personal zeal is more of growing businesses. So I look at myself as a business growthpreneur. What I mean by that is all the 3 companies that I've possibly worked for in the last almost decade or so, they have been million-dollar companies. I've worked for, Key was a medical company in Chitungwiza. The guy now owns about 4 hospitals. He's raking in an average revenue per year of nothing less than 6 million. After that, I then joined GTEL. GTEL, at the height, we were doing about $21 million revenue, $21 million yearly revenue. Currently, I'm now with Huawei. With Huawei, I manage a portfolio where, to date, globally as a brand, last year we did 2014 we did 42 billion. Then 2015 we did 52 billion as a brand. My key portfolio, I had Zimbabwe, Zambia. Zimbabwe, I think you are well aware of the contract that we won with Tel One. It's a $65 million contract. We've also won another one, Net One, which starts next year. It's a $400 million contract. Apart from that, I've got distributors who possibly work under my channel. Now, why am I saying this? No, I'm not trying to show off in any way, but I'm just trying to get you guys to understand that the effort is probably going to take you to get your business noticed, whether it's a $50 business or whether it's a $20 million business, is the same. I know a lot of people will say, well, I need to work, I need to rest and everything. I find it very funny. I'm a Christian, yes, but the Bible says that on the 6th day he rested. After 6 days, on the 7th day he rested, correct? But my thing is this, the 6 days he was working, right? So why do you want to rest on the 7th day and give yourself a weekend to rest when you know you haven't worked yet? So my thing is, if you're going to be in business, number one, it's going to take a lot of fortitude. It's going to take you working. If you're not willing to put in the work and the time of making sure that your brand is noticed in anything that you're doing, you don't need to be in business. Because business is very volatile, hey? I think you know that business changes. I'm in technology. Currently, we do devices. It was only probably 15 years ago where one man called Steve Jobs came onto the face of the market. What did Steve Jobs do? Steve Jobs said, I want to do, he started with the laptops, the tablet, then he came with the iPod. Then he said, I want to do a phone. He came up with a phone so beautiful that he took away all the keypads. Probably was the first company or the first man who revolutionized that industry. By doing that, people were like, nah, Steve, don't do that. It's not worth it. It will not work. But what did it do for Steve Jobs? By the time he died, in 5 years, he had over $115 billion in his personal bank account. Now, you're talking about success. You're talking about working. You're talking about change. You're talking about marketing. So how does all of this link up? Marketing, to me, is your ability to be dynamic. Your ability to move in time and in speed. What do I mean by that? We now have very different or a lot of communicating platforms that are available in the market. We've got LinkedIn, we've got Facebook, we've got Twitter. But the key thing is we are saying you want to be in business. Are you possibly on any one of those platforms? If you're not using them, then it means that whatever marketing you're going to do or trying to execute for your business, it's not going to work. Why is that? Because they are free business prospecting tools. Marketing, in essence, ladies and gentlemen, is about creating demand. So the thing is, how do you create demand? So if I spend, we've got a very famous person we know in Zimbabwe. I won't shy to share his name, Mr. Chiangwa. He's got very interesting videos that you see that he sends on WhatsApp. I think you've probably come across them, correct? We laugh, but do you know what he's doing? He's getting noticed. So whether you like it or not, whenever I then come into interface with him or interface with him in any business transaction, my thing is, this guy has got trust. He knows what he's doing. Whether he's clowning, whether he's a comedian, whether he's serious or not, is a totally different ballgame. So if you're in marketing and you've got a brand, the first thing you want to do is to make sure that your brand is noticed. And if your brand is not being noticed by you using the free prospecting tools for business, then it means that there is no way you're going to say to yourself, I'm an entrepreneur and I'm in marketing, or I want to make sure that my brand is known and it's seen. How is it going to happen? I don't know. You tell me. How's it going to happen? You need to be honest to yourself, eh? Because the moment you say you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to get into business, you also realize that you have to affect people or infect people. You're going to affect them or infect them with your attitude and your business model. So if your business model is not relevant, it's going to be knocked out of business. Another classic example. You know very well that when about 15, almost 10, 15 years ago, here in Zimbabwe, when the US dollar came in, correct? We're coming from the bond note. All the companies that are relevant were not forced out of business. Companies like Delta, they didn't go broke. Key banks, Barclays, CBZ, Stanbic Bank, they didn't go out of business. Tel1, they didn't go out of business. Net1, they didn't go out of business. Econet, they didn't go out of business. Why? Because they've got one principle that they use in marketing. You will not get this one in a book. But I say that when you are a marketer, you are not willing or wanting to compete. You want to dominate the market. Competing people are the people who are trying to share the market. So if I bring one full pizza in here, we're going to share it, right? But the key person who's going to say, look, I'm hungry and I'm going to feed myself, they'll dominate and take the whole thing. That's the same thing with those guys. So when marketing forces or economic forces take place in an economy, they're not going to affect the big guys. It's only the small guys who are shaken. So hence why I'm saying if you are an SME and you want to start a business, your business has to speak in time and be relevant to 10, 15 generations away. Because if you're just willing to serve or to solve a problem for you, your Sekuru and your Amai Guru, you are going to be knocked out of business. Right now we've got the bond note coming. Since June we're saying that it's been coming. We don't know, maybe it's coming this month or end of next month. My thing is, it's going to come, whether or not it comes. But you're going to notice companies like Delta, they're not going to be moved. Companies like Econet, they're not even going to be affected by what's taking place because of the bond note. Simply because they dominate the market. So you need to be in a space where you're saying, if I'm coming and bringing a product, my product has to be relevant. My product has to dominate the market. Because if it does not dominate the market, you are going to go out of business. Is that making sense?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes, it is.
So if you're then saying, I'm a marketer, how do I then get my brand to be out there? How do I get people to endorse me? Two things. Have you started any work on it? That's number one. Number two, what are you good at? Because you want to start a business and you want to increase its marketing capacity or propensity. You might not be a marketer. You know, there was one thing about anyone who starts a business. In my personal time, I'm a consultant. I also have or have run a few other businesses. Some have failed, some have been successful. But there's one thing I've noticed. We use emotions when we run businesses. So imagine you're saying, I'm a dressmaker, I'm going to make this very beautiful dress. So when I put this dress, it's going to look amazing. Everyone who wears it, if I go to this church, if I go to this congregation, everyone's going to ask me for my number so that they get the dress. Fine and fair, that's your emotional thinking. But you haven't realized what the next person is thinking to say, is the material the right material to use? Is it even going to be a proper fit? How many times is the quality going to last when I take it to the dry cleaner? You're not thinking that because you're so much in love or embedded with your product. So my thing is you need to then ask yourself, the product that I want to sell, how relevant is it? You ask the people who you associate with. I came here because of a relationship. You've got a team or a set of people that you work around with, within your family, within your network, who possibly can be a marketer, can be an accountant, can be a legal person. Have you also sat down to ask and say, look, this is what I'm going to do. How can I add value to it? Don't go and ask them to say, will it work or will it not work? Because asking them that, they're going to tell you it won't work. Simply because when you look at everyone who's been successful in life, they'll tell you that I went to ask my mother, I went to ask my friend, I went to even ask my business companions whether this business model will work, and they said, no, it won't. Because people see differently. It's your ability and your passion and what's driving you which is going to cause your business to grow. So if you don't have that passion and that ability to grow, then it won't work. The next thing that I want to share is to say, how then do I grow my business as an SME to make sure that its marketing is relevant? You need to test things. If ever you've got something that you're going to do, test it. Don't just do something willy-nilly to say that, well, maybe if I buy a few flyers, you know, like when you're driving, right now there's a lot of people that you see who are giving out flyers. I always wish and wonder and ask myself, is it effective or not? Because you're going to get one guy who's got a beautiful flyer, like Transurf, they always do a brochure. Then you've got someone who's got a pest control company. He's just gone and cut A4 paper, black and white, and he's giving those by the traffic light. Why should I roll down my window and put a piece of dirt in my car? Excuse my French, but this is how a person thinks. So if you are going to make a product beautiful, make sure that it looks so beautiful that everyone who sees it probably wants to kiss it. Why? Hence why I said when you look at Apple, Apple revolutionized the whole industry of cell phones. We've got companies like Nokia, they're out of business. Companies like BlackBerry, they're out of business. When they started, we thought they were going to be the it thing. Whoever thought the Nokia 5210 would go out of business? No one, right? Because when you had a cell phone, you were saying to yourself, wow, this is it. But now I'm holding, like, this is our flagship phone at Huawei where I work. It was the first phone to come out with 2 cameras. This one is probably worth about $800. Apple went and copied almost most of the specs on this phone. But why are they doing that? Because they're now realizing that to be relevant, you might need to follow or copy what other people are doing. Which leads to my next step or my next point, to say that sometimes if you don't know it all, copy and paste. There is nothing wrong with that in marketing. Because if someone has used it and they're successful, you're also not going to lose anything by doing it. It's just only going to what? Add value to you. The third point, which I'm probably going to share, which is relevant in marketing, is this. There are 2 things that happen in marketing. Marketing and business growth is about occupying time and space. What do I mean by that? Your ability to move fast in terms of occupying space is going to be important. Remember, I shared the second point where I said you need to dominate the market. Dominating the market is not about dominating people, By all means, I don't expect you to dominate anyone. But what I need you to do is you need to dominate in terms of market share. How you dominate in terms of market share is your ability to dominate space. You dominate space by making sure that in every place or in every area where someone can see your article, where they can get to know about you, where they can get to read about you, you need to be present. You need to have a blog. Period. Blogging about what you're doing. You need to make sure that if you've got somebody who's a writer, they need to be writing about you or talking about you at some point in time in your life. You need to be, like I said, on LinkedIn, you need to be on WhatsApp. Digital media is a generic globalization space which is free. And when you look at companies who've managed to harness that, you look at companies like Alibaba. Alibaba, over a space of 3 years, it has become $1 billion company. How? Because it's now managed to take away your Swift out of business. It's managed to take away your Denenga out of business. It's managed to take away very soon your Pick and Pay and your OK out of business. How? By giving you a product which you purchase online, and within 48 hours you're going to have that product in your house. Did you know that 60% right now of all purchases that are taking place in England are now being done online? But how do people shop online? They are not going to go and ask who is the best wedding planner online, right? But it's a question of them seeing an advert, them seeing a blog, them going on Google and being given some form of information about a brand and it being effective. So that's the key thing. So if you are saying you're in business right now and you're not occupying this space, you're wasting your time. You're definitely wasting your time. The next thing is to then say you move with the speed of how time works. Like I said to you, in the next 5 years, it's going to be a total shift in how we communicate. It's going to be a total shift in how even people are going to do business with each other. So if you haven't sat down and say, I'm in business, where do I see my business in the next 5, 10 years? How am I even going to be marketing? Then you've got a challenge. So you need to also upskill yourself, whether it's basic usage of a computer, whether it's basic usage of any form of communication platform, it's very necessary. Right now we're in this smartphone arena where we are talking about smartphones. An example would be something like this. This is what I use. I get all my calls here, I get all my SMSs, my WhatsApps, they all come here. They've got both my phones linked up here. So my phones, I can leave them here in a radius, I think, of about 600 meters. So even if I leave them possibly at home and I go to the store, all my information comes here. Why are people doing this? This also monitors my heart rate. This also monitors the calories that I've burnt. So I'll just give you as an example. Today, I've done 7,363 steps. I've burnt 335 calories. As you can see, I'm already sweating because of the light, you know. But why is this do? It's now sending data to say that, Robert, if you've got a medical condition that you need to be aware of, this is what has taken place within your life, right? It will then send a report on my phone to say that if your target is to lose 20 kgs by 2017, it means that you are exactly 638 days away from your schedule. It means you need to increase by 2%. What is this called? That's called analytics. Now in marketing, that's the new word that people are talking about, something called big data or analytics. Why are analytics necessary when we're talking about marketing? If you don't know the type of market or the people that you want to share or sell your product to, then it means that your product will lose its relevance. So why you need this type of information? How do you get this type of information? It's very simple. You're going to get it by 3 ways. Number one, whenever you're going to sell a product to your people, make sure you've got their communication information. What do I mean by that? So for instance, I am selling this jacket to all 50 or 60 of you in here. I need to have your unique numbers, your cell phone number or your email. I need to communicate with you after you've made the purchase. I need to know what your problems are, what the benefits are of the product that you enjoyed. Why? Because if I can increase your purchasing power of just the 50 of you, I don't need the market out there. When you look at key companies that right now that are possibly like in technology, how they work, they've got a database to say that from the very first time that you purchased this product, they know when you purchased it, what the fault was, when you've brought in for returns, and how many times the product was upgraded. Why are we doing that? Because we realize it's easier for me to communicate and keep one relationship, but increase the amount of money I get from this one relationship than starting new relationships. New relationships are expensive, correct? In essence, I'm saying the devil is better. Or stay to one wife, in short. Because if you want to find other women, they're going to spend what? Your money, right? But if you keep to one and you understand her better and you know that, okay, today she's angry, tomorrow she's okay. If I bring her probably a new dress, she'll understand me better. It's easier to manage and you get more out of that transaction. Because in anything that you're looking at, it's a business transaction. Whether it's a relationship, whether it's your business, whether it's a marriage, anything you look at, it's a relationship, it's a transaction, and you have to get some form of benefit. So if you are failing to understand, appreciate, and realize that when you're doing your marketing campaigns, it's going to be a problem. So in short, ladies and gentlemen, I've probably given you the fastest and the shortest marketing tips that I can share with you. I would have wanted to give you more, but I think my time, I know I was given up to 10 to. I want to open up the next 10 minutes to questions. But how I want to do my questions is going to be very different. I need someone here who's in business. I need you to come up here, we'll sit you up here, and then we're going to analyze your business model and we're going to add value to it. By the time you come out of here, if you fail to grow your business in the next 3 months, I'm going to have problems with you. Because what I'm sharing with you is information that I've probably learned and have been taught, but that has also given me the ability to realize that it's very possible to turn any organization into $1 million organization. Employment, but the problem with looking for employment, which is the biggest worry for even me, is you need to always be relevant. Right now, I'm now in school, I'm doing my PhD. I'm not enjoying it. But the reason I'm doing, I realize that I need to be relevant. They're going to release another robot 5 years from now, who's probably going to be smarter, probably have 2 times the amount of brain capacity than me, but he will think faster and have more energy than me. So if I don't remain relevant, I will not be in the same space and time in terms of relevance of the market and the market dynamics and the shifts that are taking place in the economy. Which is the same way when you look at your business. If you are not growing, you will see that your business will be forced out or change. We look at a company as an example in closing called Capri. Capri used to make refrigerators. I think in the early 80s, 90s, 80% of you, either you owned a Capri refrigerator or your parents owned a Capri refrigerator, correct? But did you notice one thing? Their shape never changed. Even until the last 5 years when they went out of business, when they had to bring in someone who had to put in an injection of money into their business. Why? Because they failed to move with the what? Changing times. Now that money was thrown in by INSCO as an injection into their business. They've slightly changed how their refrigerators look. But look at what Defy is doing. Look at what Kelvinator is doing. Look at what Hisense is doing. They're realizing that a refrigerator should be an interesting thing to look at. It should not be just like that Coke one where it's just displayed. But it should give you the ice, the water. Now they've got refrigerators even where you can put a tablet. You can link your tablet and what it will say is milk in the refrigerator is 2 liters. When your milk goes to under a liter, it will send you an SMS or an email on your phone. That's what we call a perfect world. That's where the world is shifting to. So, but if you are not thinking like that, you're going to lose. So my thing is, instead of sometimes just coming up with a new totally business model, look at how your business model can add value to maybe what ZLG is doing. Look at how your business model can add value to what Mercedes is doing. And then you add it, you go and you sell your business proposal as a value add. Because your key things about your business is we've got what we call a UI or a unique preposition or a unique offering in business. What is that? It basically means that your business has to have something unique that people want it for. There are so many businesses that sell shoes, correct? But why has Nike probably taken 80% of the market share? Does anyone know why? They're cool, they're trendy. What else? strong. Yes, Adidas is strong. Puma is strong. But there's something that they do. Have you ever seen a Nike advert here in Zimbabwe? No, right? But every third person in your family is wearing a Nike. Whether it's real or not is not the issue. Because chances are that we've got what we call grey and non-grey. Grey basically means it's entered the country in the wrong channels, but it's probably an original. But you see what works with Nike is this. I had the opportunity of visiting the Nike factory in China. From the cleaner who works at Nike, they'll tell you the whole life story about the business and the vision and where it's going. That's unique. Now what I'm saying is when we start a business, black people, we've got one problem. If there's anyone who's non-black or but Africans, let me generalize, we've got one problem. Business is only known by the father. The wife doesn't know what you do. So there is no transitional or generational growth in how we manage our businesses. So in essence, if, for example, when you look at Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola has been a business that has transcended in over 6-7 decades through a formula that was shared from a son to a son to a son. But we don't do that in business. So when I talk about you having a unique preposition, if there's something unique about your business or your business offering, it needs to be translated through your team. It needs to be translated through the people who work for you so that there is consistency in how you're doing it. The other thing that can be unique can be maybe your warranty. Your warranty of your product can simply say that we do not fix our product. We replace if there's a problem. That's unique. So the moment you sell that and people can know that and understand that, there is no way your business will go broke or lose its relevance within the market. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Yes.
You will say question.
I'll take 2 questions, then I'm going to invite one person to come, maybe take a seat, who's got a business. I take it all of you in here run businesses. You should not be at a stage where you're saying to yourself, I'm intending. Because things are going to shift. You need to start. You never wait for the perfect weather to start something. You have to start now, okay? It's very, very important. I see a lot of young people in here. It's very good, but the key thing is 60% of Zimbabweans who are coming out of university are jobless. I say so because I probably get nothing less than, when we put a job advert, nothing less than 2,000 to 3,000 CVs that come through. Now imagine, I don't have the time to go through 3,000 CVs, not even our HR person. Now how do we then choose a unique person? I'm going to look for someone who's going to do something out of the extraordinary in terms of selling their product, correct? So if someone is going to send me an app video of who they are and what they've achieved, even if I don't like them, even if they've infringed in my private space, I'm going to watch it, correct? But when I watch it and if it catches my eye and it's what I'm looking for, chances I'll now go and say, please, out of the 3,000 CVs, can you pick up this specific one? Simply because he's done something out of the extraordinary. Hence why I'm saying that even the business that you have to run, gone are the days where we now talk about going into the bank and getting money out. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not going to be relevant in the next 5 years. Banking is shifting. As I speak right now, I do 80% of my purchases with my phone. Money is already debited from my phone. And in case you didn't know, we're already now testing something that probably people might not understand, but it's in the Bible. The whole concept of putting a chip in your hand, that's coming to play. Watch, by 2020, it will be already taking place. As we speak right now in America, they're testing it. It's already out there. So the thing is, we have the ability to run businesses but control the gateway. What I mean by the gateway is the type of information and how the transactions take place. Because if we don't do that, other people are going to come with your ideas, the same one. Because I know at some point in time in your life you said, he's doing a business, but I had that idea. Correct. I know you've had that experience at some point in your life, but it's simply because you didn't act upon it when the time was relevant. So you need to act upon it while the time is relevant so that when your business comes to fruition, you won't miss out on the opportunities. Maybe you're possibly sitting on an idea that's going to employ 5,000 people, 2,000 people here in Zimbabwe. Why not? So I feel like when they invited me here, it's an opportunity because I don't know who I'm talking to. Just because your life is where it is right now does not mean that in 10 years' time you'll possibly be paying all the civil servants in Zimbabwe. Why not? It's very possible. But we just have to have that open mindset to say that information is relevant. Information is key. So one of the last key things that you possibly need to know is that while you're running your business, please do not fall short in terms of getting information and reading. It's going to be the key, unique, defining point for your success. On average, they say that globally, an average person reads 1 book a year outside of what you read in school. You know, whether you did literature or you did geography, you know. But they say that you read 1 book a year on average. Do you know that right now, the relevant CEOs in Zimbabwe and globally, they read at least 5 books a month. I'm currently doing 4 books a month. I read things sometimes that are possibly outside of my scope. Why? Because I need to know what's new, what's relevant. I cannot read or get information from my family or my brothers, excuse me, because why? While they might have been successful in where they are, but I need to take myself and my business to the next level, to the next dimension. So your key value also as an individual, as a business owner, is you need to unlock the value through reading. If you are not a good reader, there are also something called audiobooks. You can buy those audiobooks. There's YouTube. Watch videos about people who've been in business. If you're saying, I want to create $1 million business, it means that you need to be listening to someone who's at least made 5-10 million in their lifetime, right? If you want to create $1 billion business, it means that you also need to listen to someone who's probably made those billions. The Donald Trumps, you know. There's so many people that we can talk about who've made the money, but you need to be listening to them or at least have read one of their books. You can't be reading, I don't even know what geography books we read at school, but even literature like Jane Eyre or Shakespeare, you know, some of that stuff it's irrelevant. But you need to be asking yourself, you know, what are the relevant new books that are coming? I think, to me, one of the key things that defined me as an individual, it got to a point where in my spending capacity, at least 30% of all the money that I would spend in a year was through acquiring information. I got to a point where I said, I can buy a suit. Average suit, I think, I'm not too sure in Harare, but it should be about 300 if I'm not mistaken, right? An average suit. 300 right now, if I were to go to South Africa or go into Innovate, it should get me a minimum at least of about a good 4-5 reads. The information I get out of those 4 to 5 reads is going to change my life. You can't copy everything, but just find one philosophy, one statement that you do and then you live by and you adhere to. It will give you relevance. So it's going to definitely define you to make sure that you're also reading. You had a question, sir?
Yes. My name is Charles.
Pleasure.
I'm into multi-level marketing.
Okay.
Yes. Like what you have been saying, I need your help. How can I introduce the professionals into my system? In other words, how can I prospect?
Okay. So in essence here, it's more of a sales issue that you want to deal with. Number one, I'll be honest with you. I've tried a couple of multi-level marketing programs myself, MLs, and even introduced one here. With every MLL, you need to know or realize that it's got a lifeline. When it's new, there's going to be a lot of excitement and new people come on board. There's a new one that I had joined recently called Bitcoins or bit mining. I don't know if you guys know what that is. Yes, good. But the key thing now is, in 3 years, that's going to be irrelevant. Because once the top is heavy, the number of people who are mining out of it or getting money out of it will be too many. So coming back to answer your question, how do you grow your multi-level marketing and bring in corporates? 3 things happen. You've got what I call a business sphere of influence. What do I mean by that? Number 1, you've got a community of people who you grew up with, right? These are the key people who probably, one is now an accountant, one is also an SME business owner. You need to approach those. Number 2, you stay in a community, right? A community which simply says you stay at maybe, as an example, maybe you stay in Highfields, number 3124. If you put a sign which says, I sell tomatoes here, everyone in your area will know and say, Pambapa Mr. Charles Panutengiswama tomatoes, correct? So you now need to make sure that in your community, everyone knows about you and what you offer. Number 3, you need to now create the new relationships where you go in and go into a company. How? It's going to be through your value proposition or your UI, your offering. You cannot go in and say, right now, I want to go to, example, faucet. Security, someone will organize a meeting for you to go there. You possibly have an opportunity to speak to 600 guards. What are you going to say to them? You can't just go and say, look, guys, I do multi-level marketing. This is my product. Maybe I sell green world products. No. You have to now create a lifestyle. People believe what they see, unfortunately, and we are visual people. You find that most of the time when a woman is looking for a man to marry, they scope you. We call it marketing scope. They look you from the top to the bottom, right? A marketing scope is basically your 7 Ps in essence. That's what we're doing. So it's the same with anyone who wants to give you their money. They need to have a trust conversation or a trust initiation with you. And that's going to take place through a scope. So you create what I would call your profile, your value proposition, and people will then do this. After you've presented, they're going to Google you. I know some of you are already here after today. If you didn't know me, you're going to Google me. And the interesting thing, there are so many things about, me and what I've done and what I'm going to do. I don't know. But why do people Google? They want to see, does he have the credit or does he have the worth or the value of what he's speaking about? It's very, very important. So you need to make sure that you go with your profile, and when people go on Google, there has to be some information about you. The worst is someone who comes to me and tells me that they've got a business and they're using a Gmail or using Yahoo. I will not trust you. I will not give you a single cent. Why? It takes you 0 cents to go online and create an email with a pseudonym at the end. So for instance, we are here, Pachitsua. You can go and create Robert at pachitsua.com. It's free of charge. It's available on the internet. Why are you still using Gmail if you're saying you are a business person? Gmail is your private, but your business has to have the business name because people believe that your name is what you're trying to sell. How are you going to sell a name when you're propagating already Gmail, which we all know? What's the relevance? You get my point? So first, to me, I would now deal with what I call the appearance. Your appearance in terms of how you're dressed, how you're presented, your business card. I'm not saying go and borrow a car or get a Mercedes-Benz to go to do the pitch. No. But when you go in and you're a person of worth, people can see that. So I hope that has answered your question.
How did you see Harare Business Forum today?
Yeah, it was excellent, absolutely good. The presentation by Mr. Gonye was very good because we learned a lot. It's not always about money.
Yes.
But it's about ideas.
Yes.
You have to be very innovative.
Yes.
In business nowadays, it's not about money, always crying about money, access to finance.
Yes.
But it's about innovativeness. So we've learned a lot from his presentation that I'm also going to do exactly like what he has taught us today so that our business can become a success story. And also we learned that advertising or marketing is very important. You have to be known when you're in business, what you are doing. You must market yourself so that people know whom you are. Because without people knowing whom you are, it's very impossible nowadays. Because the harsh economic environment is making things very difficult. But you have to concentrate mainly on marketing.
What other final word can you say to your other businessmen that are out there about Harare Business Forum?
I'm saying, please come and listen and share ideas in the Harare Business Forum. They are brilliant ideas which are being shared here. And it's excellent. You learn a lot and you come up a changed person. The way you do business. If you come here, you go back to your company, you start to do things differently. Because we are used to do things the way we used to do. But there's a lot of new ideas which are coming in now. So I'm urging people to come and learn. It's quite a good forum, and I'm saying keep it up.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I wish to thank all the people that came through to Harare Business Forum today. I wish to also extend an invitation to all business people in Harare to come through to Harare Business Forum. We meet at Batanai Gardens, which is Corner First Street and Jason Moyo at Pachitsua Restaurant. Our cell number is 0735 686603. Harare Business Forum is a structured platform that allows cross-pollination of ideas. It's an environment that allows you to grow, to nurture, and also have stimulus and also add value into your business by getting to hear other sharpened minds from industry and commerce. I wish to welcome you all, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you.
Advertising and designing, Zimbabwe's most affordable printing company. Hurry for our specials today. We have PVC or vinyl printing going only for $14 per square meter. Cut vinyl going only for $3 per square meter. We also have business cards going only for $10 for 100 cards. We also do printing on PVC ID cards going from as little as $2.40. Simply fly your brand with our flyers going from as little as $13 for 100 sheets. We also do show stand branding, vehicle branding, premise signage, posters, calendars, aluminium snapper frames of all sizes, flags, electronic roll-ups, electronic rotating stands, A-frames, graphic designs, and many more. Visit us today on Corner First Street and Speak Avenue on number 51 Complex House, 2nd floor. Call our sales team today on the following numbers: 04 710 129 or 086 441 03428 or 0733 377 737, or simply email us on printing@poweradvertising.co.zw. Come today for an instant service. Remember, a business without a sign is a sign of no business. Power Advertising, a high mark in print and design.